The collection of the cinema scriptures is wrong. La Luong. I would like to correct you. At the Fourth Buddhist Council, 20 BC, 500 years after the Buddha entered Mahaparinirvana, King Vadagamani of Sri Lanka convened the Fourth Buddhist Council at Alyuha near the present-day city of Kandy, to compile the sutras, Vinayas and summarize the Abhidharma Pitaka. To preserve the Buddha's teachings, which have been compiled but only transmitted orally for the past 500 years, the three collections of scriptures were written down on a type of paper made from dried palm leaves. From then on, the Pali Canon was formed and no further changes occurred. Dear Master, I respectfully ask, what Dharma did the former Emperor Tran Nan Tong practice? Nikaya. Reply. La Luong loves himself. La Luong is truly a talented scholar who pursues empty theories. For La Luong, any classic is worth learning. La Luong's cultural style made the teacher pity him. La Luong devoted his life to collecting the essence of worldly learning. When it comes to studying history, La Luong is indeed a master of classics. But I ask La Luong, please stay calm, respectfully answer, and exchange knowledge and progress. Is La Luong's work beneficial to spiritual practice? Does La Luong's work lead to mastery of birth, aging, sickness, death, and liberation, and no longer being reborn as a suffering human being? Buddha taught us that practice goes to the heart of the problem of mastering birth, aging, sickness, and death. If you do not practice according to the core of the problem, then you are studying the Dharma just to show off your vast knowledge, bringing with it greed. Buddha calls it ignorance. The teacher gave a clear example. King of Sri Lanka, Vadagamini, because he admired Buddhism, held a Sangha conference to compile the scriptures. This action, for Buddhists, is applauded enthusiastically, because it satisfies the pride and greed of worldly people who respect Buddha. But for those who practice according to the right Dharma, it is a waste, creating knowledge to then practice astray into evil Dharma, enjoying worldly blessings. Because knowledge develops, liberating insight never appears. If liberating insight does not appear, then practice is in vain, a waste of effort. In the end, I had to be famous in the world to make a living, to be rich and noble. That was just an illusion. At that time, I was no longer a monk, but a prayer and begging home. Even more obvious, the establishment of scriptures by those who have not yet attained enlightenment is full of greed. Therefore, the scriptures established by these people are only to satisfy human greed. To increase knowledge, to sink deeper into ignorance, that is, to fall into evil ways without them knowing or realizing it. Thus, each monk who has not yet attained enlightenment creates a scripture, creating a forest of ignorance, trapping monks, nuns, and Buddhists in ignorance and superstition, from one life to the next. What is the benefit to human progress? Have clear views and think clearly and you will answer yourself. Master Tan Tien clearly explained that, a Buddhist doctor is someone who cultivates vast knowledge of Buddhism. The higher the knowledge, the more impossible it is to practice and attain enlightenment as the Buddha taught. It is so obvious that the more greedy you are, the more familiar you are with passion, then how can you abandon desire, abandon evil, increase good to attain the truth? To practice the right Dharma, we must fight and conquer our own desires. Overcome the influence of desire imagination, love fetters, and breaking precepts. Once we are free from the above influence, we can leisurely practice and attain enlightenment. Exactly as the Buddha taught. Through practicing the right Dharma and attaining enlightenment, Master Tan Tien discovered, why do monks all over the world, even though they have the Nikaya Sutras in their hands, still fall into heretical practices? Has anyone attained enlightenment after Ananda? It is because they use greed to practice. To put it more clearly, they have not yet escaped the influence of greed, lust, love fetters, and breaking the precepts. Because they use greed to cultivate, they sink deep into greed, which means sinking into evil ways, without knowing anything. Until they enjoy wealth and fall into the cycle of birth, aging, sickness, and death, at that time they know they are wrong, but it is too late. They no longer have the strength to start over. And because of their pride, they dare not tell the truth to the people, to awaken future generations so they do not make mistakes. This is the cowardice of Mahayana monks and nuns, not daring to speak the truth to save monks and nuns, Buddhists of future generations. Proof. 1. Ananda was the Buddha's attendant. He followed the Buddha and listened to the Buddha teach the Dharma to each monk, which meant that each monk had a different Dharma. At the same time, the Buddha also allowed him to teach the Dharma on his behalf. Ananda, before accepting to be the Buddha's attendant, he set a condition that he would not rely on the Buddha for anything. Therefore, the Buddha did not give him the Dharma to practice. After the Buddha passed away, he practiced for more than 10 years but still made no progress, although he kept the precepts very strictly. He could not find the reason for his failure. A wonderful fate arose. The Arahants gathered to compile the Nikaya Sutras. At that time, although Ananda remembered all the Buddha's teachings to the monks, he had not yet attained enlightenment and had to be invited to leave the cave. Thanks to the gathering of monks, Ananda suddenly remembered that a Buddha taught each monk one Dharma. By practicing only one Dharma, it is easy to enter the mind. But if we practice too many Dharma, how can we enter the mind? b. To practice the Buddha's Dharma correctly, one must abandon lust, abandon evil, and increase good. I am filled with greed and vast Buddhist knowledge, but clearly I have not abandoned lust and evil. So how can I practice and attain enlightenment? Finally, Ananda chose only one Dharma, which is one night of virtue. If the past is not, the future is not, then the present must be emptiness. That means, for one day and one night, he used the Dharma to practice properly, purifying his knowledge, then liberating insight filled in. And he attained enlightenment. 2. Master Thong Lak, although he practiced Mahayana, soon realized that practicing Mahayana was wrong. Therefore, he was vigilant and silently kept the Dharma precepts. He always intended, his mind was as white as a conch shell. He was determined to keep his mind from being contaminated by worldly dust. Until the time came, he read the 4 foundations of mindfulness in the Nikaya Sutra. The 4 foundations of mindfulness were suitable for his characteristics, so he immediately closed himself up, practiced diligently for 6 months and attained fruition. If he had not kept the precepts, he would not have dreamed of attaining fruition. Because thanks to keeping the precepts, he was able to escape from greed. 3. Here, the reader will wonder, according to Master Thong Lak's teachings, monks who keep the precepts and practice diligently, progress to the point where the precepts and monks are one single unit, then they will attain fruition. Why did Ananda keep the precepts diligently but find it difficult to attain fruition? Because Ananda made 2 mistakes. One is, chasing after greed for knowledge. Second, only practicing one method can enter the mind, but Ananda practiced many methods, so how can he enter the mind? If so, why does Master Tan Tien teach practitioners to use the right method to practice the 6 basic methods? Wrong again. Master Tan Tien said, practice to become familiar with the right intention and the 6 basic methods. After mastering the 6 methods, then enter the Nikaya Sutras, or the books of Master Thong Lak, or the 8 right paths, 12 causes and conditions, 37 Bodhipaka, and choose one method and practice diligently until that method enters the mind to attain the fruit. Don't worry about choosing the Dharma. Once you are no longer influenced by greed, desire, love, and breaking the precepts, then you will be clear-minded and choose the Dharma easily. When the master chooses the Dharma, when he comes to that Dharma, his mind naturally becomes excited and demands to obtain it. That means that Dharma is the right affinity for his mind. In short, the scriptures written by those who have not yet attained enlightenment should be discarded and ignored. As for the Nikaya scriptures and the scriptures of Master Thong Lak, they should be kept until one has mastered the 6 basic practices. That is, one has the foundation for practice, that is, one has left the influence of greed, desire, love, and breaking the precepts. Then, we read the Nikaya Sutras or the scriptures of Master Thong Lak, choose a method that is suitable for us, then we diligently practice until we enter the mind and attain the fruit. Oh, dear! When you are still greedy and read the Nikaya Sutras, you will understand them through your imagination, which will harm your practice. Because it will make you fall into unnecessary thoughts and you will not be able to stop. 4. Questions about former Emperor Tran Nan Tong, please visit the road to Buddha's land. My teacher, Venerable Tik Thong Lak, has explained clearly. Respectfully.